How's everyone doing?
Good. Jump scare.
Okay, you ready to get lost?
Yeah.
All right, well, get lost. Open up to The Lost Colony of Roanoke by Lee Frederick.
Yes.
And as we learned, this is the colony that was set up by England that failed. One of many that failed, but this is the most famous that failed before Jamestown finally succeeded. If you call losing 90% of your population a success.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, but regardless, that did succeed, and this is a complete failure where they lost 100% of the colony. John White returns to Roanoke Island. Introduction. Governor John White signed with relief. He made it back to his colony on Roanoke Island. A colony is a group of people who settle in a distant land but remain under the power of their parent country. He was keeping a promise, though he was 3 years late. He had returned with supplies the colony needed. At last, his ship had reached the inlet near the Roanoke Sound. White saw smoke rising. His hopes rose with it. Maybe the colony had survived. He longed to see his daughter and his granddaughter. He set out with a search party in rowboats. Chapter 1. A beginning in the New World. During the 1500s, England and Spain competed for power and wealth. Spain controlled sea trade and sent explorers to the Americas. England was eager for trade to grow. Elizabeth I was Queen of England. Queen Elizabeth didn't want Spain to control the Americas. Sir Walter Raleigh and the Queen thought alike. Raleigh was a navigator and a favorite in the Queen's court. They both knew the coast of North America was a good place for a colony. Such a colony would be good for trade and exploration. More important, an English colony could make money for England. Queen Elizabeth agreed to supply Raleigh with ships. He could start a new colony in North America. In April of 1585, Raleigh's fleet of 7 ships set sail. In July, they reached North America.
Yay.
They established the first English colony on Roanoke Island, along the coast of present-day North Carolina. Raleigh's cousin, Sir Richard Grenville, was among the colonists. Grenville left in August to return to England for more supplies. He left 107 men and their leader, Governor Ralph Lane, on the island. Among the colonists was illustrator and map maker John White. Chapter 2. Problems for the first colony. The first settlers in North America were not farmers. They were soldiers. Their jobs, they thought, was to explore, not to farm. They relied on local American Indians for food. The Indians may have grown tired of supplying food for the colonists. Supply ships did not come when they were expected. Governor Lane led his men on raids against the Roanoke Indians. Conflict and tension grew. In June 1586, a fleet of ships led by Sir Francis Drake arrived. He found the settlement dangerously low on food. Drake offered to leave them food or take them back to England. Lane chose to return to England with the remaining colonists. A few weeks later, Grenville returned to Roanoke Island. He brought ships full of supplies and many men. Since the colonists were gone, he decided to return to England too. However, he left 15 men and lots of food. This would keep the island an English colony. Chapter 3. A second chance. Raleigh's, you can everybody?
Round. Beep.
Okay, Raleigh's first colony had failed. He was disappointed, but he immediately planned a new colony. This one would be different. These colonists would have a reason to make a successful home there. This time, farmers and skilled workers would go, not just soldiers. Some women and children would also go. Raleigh made John White governor. White had greater respect for American Indians. The colonists would sail to the Chesapeake Bay area. It was a better site to settle. Unlike the Roanoke Sound, the Chesapeake Bay had a deep harbor on the way to Chesapeake Bay. The colonists would stop at Roanoke Island. They would pick up the men Greenville had left behind. The voyage was long and difficult. To make matters worse, Governor White and the admiral of the fleet did not get along. By the time they arrived at Roanoke Sound, the pair were very angry with each other. White took a search party to look for Greenville's colonists. They found only a skeleton. Dun, dun, dun! The 15 Roanoke colonists who had stayed behind had vanished.
They
Died.
John White's drawing of how Native American Indians caught fish. The admiral refused to take the new colonists on the ship to Chesapeake Bay. This left over 100 men, women, and children in a place they hadn't intended to settle. One of the women was White's daughter, who was pregnant. It was July of 1587. Too late to plant a crop. The friendly Croatoan Indians helped the colonists with food. However, the Roanoke Indians killed one of the settlers. White attacked the Roanoke village, but discovered too late that the Roanokes had already fled. The settlers had mistakenly killed Croatoans who were at the deserted village to collect any food the Roanokes may have left behind. Luckily, the Croatoans forgave the colonists. One bright spot occurred on August 18th. White's granddaughter, Virginia Dare, was born. She was the first English child born in North America. The colonists settled in for the winter. However, they planned to move on to Chesapeake Bay in the spring. White had to return to England for supplies. He promised to come back to the colony the next spring. Dun, dun, dun. The colonists were to leave a message if they had to move. They would leave the sign of the cross if they left in a hurry due to trouble.
Dun, dun, dun.
Chapter 4. A delay and a mystery.
Beep.
White would not make it back in the spring because England and Spain were at war.
No.
Queen Elizabeth ordered all English ships to fight for the Navy. In July 1588, the mighty Spanish Armada, or fleet of warships, entered the English Channel. A huge battle followed. The smaller, quicker English ships did well. The Armada was defeated. Finally, in 1590, White sailed for Roanoke Island. This time, he was not leading the ships. He was just a passenger on the warship Hopewell. White found the colony deserted.
Oh no.
The smoke he had seen from the rowboat came from a brush fire. A fence had been built around where the houses once stood, but the colonists' homes were gone. There was no message. There was no cross. He found only the word Croatoan carved into a tree.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun.
White thought the colonists must have gone to live with the Croatoan Indians. He asked to go to Croatoan Island to search. Unfortunately, a bad storm blew in. The captain struggled to save his ship. It was impossible to go to the island. There was no choice but to sail for it. John White never saw North America again.
Oh no.
The lost colony of Roanoke would remain a mystery for over 400 years.
Wow.
What had happened to the colonists? No one knows for sure.
Probably died.
Several theories or ideas have been suggested. Which one do you think tells the true fate of the colony? One. The colonists moved to the Chesapeake Bay area. They took their homes apart and carried building materials with them. Friendly American Indians in the area helped them survive. The colonists married American Indians and lived with their people. 2. They were killed by Roanoke Indians. The colonists built a wall around the settlement for protection.
Yeah.
But food ran out, and the men had to go out to hunt and fish. They were attacked and killed. Then the women and children were enslaved. Number 3. They went to live with the Croatoans.
No.
Lack of food and water made the Croatoans move inland. The colonists moved with them. Croatoans and colonists became one group as they married each other. Okay, so there's a timetable and questions there, which you will do. But those are 3 of the possibilities that tomorrow you're going to have to pick one or some more that you think may have happened. You can even come up with your own, but you would have to defend that with evidence. That would be a little harder, but you can do it. All right, so bye everyone. Say bye.
Bye.